the TokyoBill Weekly Update, an end-of-week news brief on events in and around Japan. Today is July 27th, 2024. The Japanese government plans to build luxury resort hotels in all 35 national parks to attract more foreign tourists and to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the national park system. The proposal aims to spread tourism beyond major cities and highlight the natural beauty of rural areas. With the favorable exchange rate for foreign visitors, luxury accommodations in national parks are expected to appeal to tourists seeking high-end amenities. Prime Minister Kishida aims to have the new resorts operational by 2031 as part of the government's tourism strategy, despite concerns about backlash and declining wages for Japanese residents. Hiroshima is facing controversy over whether Israel should be invited to its annual peace ceremony due to the ongoing conflict in Gaza. While activists and survivors argue for Israel's exclusion, Hiroshima officials insist on inviting all countries. Nagasaki, another city hit by an atomic bomb, has not decided on inviting Israel. The dispute comes as Israel's actions in Gaza have sparked global protests, with some in Hiroshima petitioning for Israel's exclusion. However, others believe that Hiroshima, as a symbol of peace, should invite all nations regardless of current conflicts. The issue has also raised questions about Palestinian statehood, with the Permanent General Mission of Palestine expressing disappointment at not being invited. On Monday, Foreign Affairs Minister Yoko Kamikawa of Japan had a working lunch with Canada's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Melanie Joly, discussing cooperation in the Indo-Pacific region and within G7, as well as advancing the Japan-Canada Action Plan. They also talked about economic issues, including establishing a comprehensive electric vehicle value chain, Arctic Ocean concerns, and cooperation in women, peace, and security, or WPS. They exchanged views on regional affairs in the Indo-Pacific, including China, Southeast Asia, Pacific Island countries, and North Korea's nuclear and missile programs and the abductions issue, expressing mutual commitment to continue working together. Speaking of Canadians, 73-year-old Canadian-American environmental activist Paul Watson was arrested in Greenland and may be extradited to Japan for his anti-whaling campaigns. The arrest was made based on a red notice issued by Japan, sparking concerns of political motivations. Watson's organization, Sea Shepherd Conservation Society, which gained fame through the Animal Planet TV show Whale Wars, believes the arrest may be linked to Japan's newest whaling ship, capable of long-range voyages. Known for his efforts to disrupt Japanese whaling, Watson has faced similar legal issues in the past, including being detained in 2012 following an arrest warrant from Costa Rica. Despite such challenges, Watson remains an outspoken critic of whaling, while Japan defends the practice as part of its cultural heritage and food security. The Japanese government is in the process of certifying the country's first laboratory to handle deadly pathogens like the Ebola virus for research. The facility, established by Nagasaki University in southwestern Japan in 2016, will adhere to the most stringent biosafety hazards, joining a small group of 60 such facilities worldwide. Japan's current sole working lab with biosafety level 4 is at the National Institute of Infectious Diseases in Tokyo, which has mainly been used for testing purposes. Once the new facility at Nagasaki University is designated as a BSL-4 research facility, it will provide more opportunities for research on infectious diseases. And on a slightly larger scale, drones are being deployed in Nayoro, northern Hokkaido, to prevent bear attacks on residents. In June, the city government partnered with the police and a drone operator to use drones equipped with cameras and speakers to help locate bears and warn residents to evacuate. Nayoro police received over 30 bear sighting reports from January to May. The Environment Ministry recorded a high number of bear attacks in recent years, with 34 injuries and 2 deaths in the first 3 months of fiscal 2024. Central Japan Railway Company has resumed all train services on the Tokaido Shinkansen line after a collision between 2 maintenance vehicles causing disruptions. The incident occurred early Monday morning between Toyohashi and Mikawa Anjo stations, resulting in both vehicles derailing and injuring 2 workers. Services between Hamamatsu and Nagoya stations were affected, leading to the cancellation of 328 bullet trains and impacting around 250,000 passengers. The company offered an apology, stating that the maintenance vehicle's brakes were applied but failed to slow down for unknown reasons. Services resumed as normal at 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Pacific leaders and Japan have agreed on the release of treated nuclear wastewater from the Fukushima plant into the Pacific Ocean. The decision was made at the Pacific Island Leaders meeting in Tokyo, with Japan's Prime Minister pledging to adhere to international safety standards. The agreement focuses on a gradual release process, transparency, and regional scientific capacity development. However, with concerns persisting regarding the treatment's efficacy and potential long-term impacts on marine ecosystems and human health, scientists are urging Japan to reconsider its approach and to ensure effective monitoring. Despite global tech interest in Tokyo and relaxed copyright laws, the creative industry is criticizing the lack of creator protection. Japan issued new guidelines on AI-related copyright infringement, but hasn't yet changed laws. Prime Minister Kishida has sought international AI guidelines, but meanwhile, loose regulations have attracted overseas AI firms, leading to calls for improvement in copyright laws to safeguard creators. Social media has highlighted the popularity of Japanese convenience stores, particularly 7-Eleven locations known as konbini. These stores offer a wide range of high-quality snacks and meals that surpass those found in American convenience stores. Despite its Texan roots, 7-Eleven is actually a Japanese-owned company that has found immense success in Japan. The company, 7&I Holdings, is now aiming to replicate this success in the United States under the leadership of CEO Ryuichi Isaka. Plans include expanding fresh food options, incorporating regional tastes, enhancing supply chains, and potentially acquiring more businesses to improve 7-Eleven locations in the U.S. Kobayashi Pharmaceutical Company announced the resignations of Chairman Kazumasa Kobayashi and his son, President Akihiro Kobayashi, due to health problems and possible deaths caused by their supplements containing Beni Koji red fermented rice. Kazumasa, 84, resigned on Tuesday, while Akihiro, 53, will be succeeded by Executive Officer Satoshi Yamane, 64, on August 8th. Yamane will be the first president from outside the founding family. Akihiro will return half of his salary for 6 months, while Yamane will give up 40% of his pay. Akihiro will no longer represent the company, but will oversee compensation to those affected by the supplements, while Kazumasa becomes a special advisor. A team of scientists from European and Japanese universities discovered that a species of carpenter ants can treat the leg wounds of their nestmates. The ants are capable of biting off injured appendages to prevent fatal infections and ensure the survival of more ants in the colony. The ants can differentiate between different types of injuries and adapt their treatment accordingly, with a 95% survival rate when amputation was performed. The researchers described the ants' behavior as the most sophisticated form of medical wound care in the animal kingdom, suggesting that the ants have been perfecting these treatments over millions of years. This behavior was described in a study published in the U.S. science journal Current Biology. Japan has urged its citizens not to participate in Russia's war in Ukraine. following the death of a Japanese national who had joined Russian forces. The government issued an evacuation advisory for all of Ukraine and areas near the Russian border. The man, in his 20s, died on June 3rd, and Russian authorities informed the Japanese embassy on June 5th, who then made contact with his family. It is unknown how many Japanese citizens have joined the Russian military, but this particular individual was from Osaka and had previously served in the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force. According to British consultancy Henley & Partners, Singapore now has the strongest passport in the world, with visa-free access to 195 countries and territories. Japan, along with Italy, France, Germany, and Spain, now share the second spot with access to 192 jurisdictions. Rankings are based on data from the International Air Transport Association, with Japan losing its 6-year top spot this year. China and the UAE have seen significant increases in passport strength, while Afghanistan holds the least powerful passport with access to only 26 countries. Google has introduced new curated spaces on the Play Store, with the first hub dedicated to manga and anime called Comics. This hub, currently available only in Japan, features manga and anime titles, live events, trailers, and reviews from top providers like Kodansha. Users can preview samples directly in the App Store without downloading apps. The global manga market is estimated at $13.7 billion in 2023, making this a lucrative venture for Google. Vice President Sam Byte revealed that more curated spaces are in the works, following the success of their curated space for cricket fans in India earlier this year. A petition was launched in Japan last month to stop the release of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows, set in feudal Japan. The controversy surrounds the character Yasuke, a black samurai who served under Oda Nobunaga. Some question Yasuke's status as a samurai, leading to backlash against the author who first wrote about him. Ubisoft defended their use of Yasuke in the game, stating their intention is not to provide a factual representation of history, but to spark interest. The response received mixed reactions, with some criticizing the game for inaccuracy in depicting Japanese culture, while others defended it as a work of fiction. German football club VfB Stuttgart's trip to Japan this week is not only for training, but also for, hopefully, financial benefits. The club sees Japan as one of their 5 key international markets. They will play friendly matches with Hiroshima and Kyoto, with an aim to build interest and fan base in the country. The trip may prove interesting but grueling, with the players dealing with the long flight, jet lag, and unusually hot local weather. While Japanese defender Hiroki Ito will not be present, having been traded away, they have included local hero Henri Chase in the traveling group. Club legends like Guido Buchwald and Shinji Okazaki will also be part of the trip. The number of foreign nationals living in Japan has reached a record high, while the country experienced its largest ever yearly drop in Japanese citizens. With a dwindling birth rate, Japan has one of the world's oldest populations, second only to Monaco. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has implemented policies to increase birth rates, acknowledging the need to sustain society. The government is also exploring immigration reforms to attract more overseas workers. The increase in foreign residents is attributed to the easing of pandemic-related border restrictions, which had prevented international students and workers to return to Japan. Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force is planning to build a firing range for surface-to-ship missile drills on Minami Torishima Island, located some 1,800 kilometers southeast of Tokyo. The domestically produced missiles have a range of over 100 kilometers and are mainly deployed on Japan's southwestern islands. The site will be the first in Japan for missiles of that range. The government aims to extend the range of the missiles to around 1,000 kilometers for counterstrikes against enemy bases. Local officials have safety and security concerns about the plan, but the Defense Ministry is working to address them. One of Japan's most famous hot springs, Dogo Onsen, in Ehime Prefecture, recently reopened the main bathhouse after more than 5 years of restoration work. Visitors expressed their happiness at being able to celebrate the reopening event, with local businesses capitalizing on the reopening to attract more tourists and improve services. The area has seen an increase in tourist numbers, surpassing pre-COVID levels. Plans are in place to study visitor patterns, address labor shortages, and enhance visitor experiences through the use of AI technology and digital transformation. Dogo Onsen is scheduled to complete all planned renovations by year-end. A dolphin known for biting people has reappeared at a beach in Fukui Prefecture, injuring a junior high school student this year. Witnesses reported the dolphin approaching in a friendly manner before the incident occurred. Similar incidents have been reported over the past 2 years, with over 20 people being injured by apparently the same dolphin. Marine science professor Tsukasa Murayama of Tokai University suggested that the dolphin may have developed a habit of playfully nipping at humans out of interest in their noisy reactions. He advised people to avoid getting close to the dolphin until it unlearns this behavior. The development of new technology for hatching eel eggs in Japan could potentially reduce the cost of eel dishes. The Japan Fisheries Research and Education Agency announced methods which can produce 40 to 50,000 juvenile glass eels a year, previously relying on wild-caught resources. The majority of eels in Japan are caught wild as juveniles and raised on eel farms, with prices rising since the 1980s. A research group, led by the agency, successfully collected 2 million fertilized eggs weekly and developed a feeding system using chicken egg yolks. The production cost per juvenile eel has dropped significantly, with hopes for commercialization on the horizon. Honda Motors will close one factory in China and halt vehicle production at another plant as it focuses on producing more electric vehicles in the face of competition from Chinese brands. The automaker will close a plant in October and pause production at another factory in November, reducing its annual production capacity in China. Honda plans to optimize its output by starting production at 2 new electric vehicle plants later this year, in collaboration with Chinese automakers. Japanese brands like Honda and Nissan are facing challenges in the Chinese market due to the rise of domestic automakers, leading to potential strategic partnerships in the EV sector. Amazon.com has launched online prescription and medicine delivery services in Japan in partnership with 2,500 drugstores. The new service, Amazon Pharmacy, allows consumers to get electronic prescriptions after online diagnoses or at hospitals or clinics. This service aims to help people with chronic health issues who regularly need prescriptions. Users can receive medication guidance through video chats with pharmacists via their Amazon accounts. The service also offers home delivery or pickup at nearby pharmacies. Amazon plans to work with more pharmacies, including smaller ones, which could prove challenging for smaller pharmacies lagging in digitalization. The Brazilian government issued its first apology for the mistreatment of Japanese immigrants during and after World War II. The apology was made for 2 specific cases: the eviction of Japanese immigrants from their homes in Santos during the war, and the mistreatment of those imprisoned on Anchieta Island post-war. The Amnesty Commission of the Human Rights and Citizenship Ministry handled the issue, a rare move as it typically deals with political persecutions under the military regime. The apology was well received by Japanese immigrants in Brazil and supported by Japan. Brazil was the destination of Japanese immigrants after the first group arrived in 1908, but diplomatic ties were severed in 1942 when Brazil joined the Allies. And finally, in beer news, local craft beer bar Anton B in the Ryodocho location is celebrating its 5th anniversary. Beers will be open and available from 5 p.m. on Friday and from 2 p.m. over the weekend. Also, Hopscotch in the Iidabashi area will be celebrating its 9th anniversary party. Everyone should enjoy delicious craft beer. Enjoy the weekend. This has been the Tokyo Bill Weekly Update. I've been, and remain, Tokyo Bill. Thank you for listening, and take care.